Down in the shadows where the courthouse stands, a gavel cracks a fading hands. Judge Gould, they whisper with a crooked grin, played the game where justice don't win. Free Rick Allen, let him go. Chains on the innocent, don't you know? When the truth's been buried and the lies unfold, the fire in the people burns hot and cold. Prosecutor McLean with his papers tied wrote the tale that never saw light. Twisted words in a room of stone left Rick Allen to stand alone. Who will answer? Who will pay? The sun don't rise on a judgment day. Free Rick Allen, let him go. Chains on the innocent, don't you know? When the truth's been buried and the lies unfold, the fire in the people burns hot and cold. Officer Holman, eyes like frost, drunk on power, the line got lost. Lock the doors, keep him inside, for justice limps where his footsteps stride.
Heyo, folks. Ooh, do I have something for you today? Now, this is not something I found. This is something other people have found. I waited a few days so they could make their own content, so they could make everything happen on their end. I'm just here to relay the information to the people who might have missed this, and also to promote these two other content creators. So that is what I'm doing here. Before that, you all know, well, maybe not, Steph the Alternate. I mean, we have been on the same stream a lot of times, but it's been a while. And the past two times we had Lego build off, and she kicked my ass. There's no way around it. And well, this is her now.
Appreciate your face. Lego Law Life, Wendy Valhalla and I are excited to have you back on a Lego stream. Yes! Yes! Bring it! Let's get it done. Even if, okay, the Viking himself doesn't want to come on because he's scared he's going to get beaten again, I'll just come on my own. I can do that as well. I could totally do that as well. Just saying.
No, I love her to death, but it seems like lately she only wants to see me when she wants to beat my ass. And Steph, love you to death, but you haven't really said anything nice about me lately. So here's, if you want me to show up on that stream and build a Lego with you or against you again. May 2nd is my birthday stream. You have to show up and say something lovely about me. Okay? So that's your challenge back. Steph, say something lovely to me live on stream May 2nd. Can you do that? Oh, she's funny. All right. back to topic. Back to topic. Michelle After Dark does amazing content. She has done a lot on the Delphi case. And she found something that I didn't realize was a thing. And it is about the phone. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, this entire video, link is in the description below. I'm going to listen, I'm going to talk about it, analyze the effect on the appeal, so on and so forth. But if you want her video alone after the stream, go over there and give her a subscription, subscribe to her, and a thumbs up and everything. So let's listen to. Now, with all due respect, Michelle, you're Scottish, so don't. I'm going to put on subtitles. And let's just listen here.
It's been a couple of months since I talked about the Delphi case in any other way other than Richard Allen's appeal. Something that I've just realised this morning maybe could be the reason why Libby's phone didn't record steps after 2:32 p.m. So let's discuss.
It's time for you guys to start being journalists.
Before an angry Andrew Baldwin left the courthouse, 13 News overheard him speaking to Richard Allen.
Yeah, by the way, Baldwin making that shout out to the news, to the journalists, still applies. Still applies.
Allen's wife saying, "It ain't over. The world's watching. The world sees what's going on."
Libby's phone stopped recording steps at 2:32 p.m. and the state of Indiana says that's because Libby was already dead at that point and her phone was already positioned under Abby, who was also dead by 2:32. This phone data has continued to perplex me. The defense insists that Libby and Abby, of course, were not murdered by Richard Allen, and possibly they were taken away and murdered later. But if they were taken away and murdered later, how come Libby's phone doesn't record steps after 2:32? That's a massive conundrum. And the last video that I did about the case 2 months ago that wasn't relating to Richard Allen's appeal was about Libby's phone, talking about all the things that happen to it after 2:32. And you can see that the phone is still on because it's recording incoming phone calls, screen on, screen off events. Listen to what I say then. Phone has to be on to record that. Phone has to be on to record all of those things and all of those things and all of those, because that's all in call history. If you turn your phone off, then your calls don't record in the call history database. Voicemail. Now, voicemail, that's in a different database, and that will record whether your phone's on or off. We can ignore voicemail. The important things are the call history database. So it shows that the phone is still on. And then this is where we get the headphones being plugged in.
Yeah, we all remember the headphones, which was his face, Officer Cecil, Googled and found a random forum claiming, yeah, it could be dirt, it could be moist, it could be water. And that could make the phone react the way it did. That's not the entire case, but since he did this, the defense didn't have enough time to actually rebut that, which is insane.
17:45. Now, we've had loads of calls and stuff since then. So why plug headphones in at that point? It's all really confusing. And I don't think this confusion helps either side.
I agree. The confusion. What made the phone react the way it did at that point in time? Why? Well, a theory, a speculation, as good as anything else. She didn't have the phone at that time. And then they had to start thinking of, we need to get rid of the bodies. Pure speculation. Or, I mean, as you said, it is confusing. Why specifically at that time was headphones put in? I don't know. But that's not important. The important thing is headphones was put in her phone at that point in time. Her phone was physically manipulated.
Because either side can argue from different standpoints, and you're just not helped at all by this phone. And there's no location data. I mean, it's so frustrating that there was location data being recorded every few minutes up until the time of the Bridge Guy video. And then we've no more location data. None. No more location data, even though the phone should have been registering something. So where is the location? Where's the location data gone? Yeah, where's the location data gone?
Yeah. Here's something I find really, really interesting. Let's hear. Let's go back and see.
Location data, none.
14/19/32. It's 24%. Five minutes later, 16%. 4 minutes later, 10, 8, and then down to 5. What happens to a phone that makes it lose that much battery in that short amount of time? And one of the few things, it's cold. Something that is really battery draining, like playing videos, recording videos. But one of the most draining thing, GPS. Looking for a signal. Thank you, Doc Lotus. There's a lot of things that can make it go down that fast. So that is one of the questions that Michelle doesn't bring up, but it's not important in the context of this. But it does tell us that once, when they found Abby's phone, if I recall correctly, one of the officers turned it on. You absolute fucktwat. Because what happens when you turn a mobile phone on? Well, it starts collecting new data, which also can overwrite old data. Ringing the phone off the hook can also drain it. Yeah, but that's not what happened at this moment. So, but let's keep listening here.
Location data gone? Yeah, where's the location data gone? And that's an open question. Where's the location data gone? Did it stop recording location because it didn't move? Possibly. However, these steps, now here's the thing that I just found out this morning. Bear in mind that I've been an iPhone user for years, and I've got an iPhone 6, the exact same model that Libby had. So in previous videos, I've been able to do experiments with the iPhone 6. I've got a few videos of that kind. Now, I currently have an iPhone 16. Still got the iPhone 6, don't use it very much. The only reason I use it now is when I do Delphi videos, but I didn't have it with me this morning. But this is what I found out about my iPhone 16. When the phone is critically low, like under 10%, it stops recording steps. It stops recording health data.
It stops recording health data at a critically low battery level. Well, Michelle's phone does this. Her iPhone 6 does that. So all of a sudden we have an answer to why did it stop recording steps? Well, the battery was too low. And of course, it makes sense. iPhones and Android phones as well. As the battery goes down and it's critically low, it turns off features so that your phone won't go down to zero. And now listening to it, yeah, of course. And it's so obvious, but how do you prove it? Well, by an iPhone expert who can testify to what Michelle will tell you next.
Now, that's completely contrary. I'm going to prove it to you in a minute, but it's completely contrary to what it says online. You know, like if somebody, you know, who was testifying, somebody like Chris Cecil, for example, who decided to get information that was allowed to be presented to the jury at trial from an expert witness who Googled during the break. Well, I've Googled. My question was, does the iPhone 16 still record health data when battery is critically low, so under 10%? Yes, the iPhone 16 continues to record core health data even when the battery is critically low. When low power mode, which typically activates under 20%, restricts background app refresh and limits certain system activities to conserve power, it does not stop the underlying sensors from tracking essential health. Okay.
Yeah, but that's the iPhone 16.
But the iPhone 6, well, same question. Yes, an iPhone 6 will generally record health data, such as steps, when the battery is critically low, but it will cease to function entirely once the battery hits 0% and shuts down. When an iPhone 6 battery is aged below 80% health and critically low, the device may initiate performance throttling to prevent unexpected shutdowns, which can make the UI less responsive, though it will still try to track data. So if Libby's phone was older and it was struggling a little bit and it was critically low, well, maybe then it has a problem. But my phone, my iPhone 16, is not old. It's got good battery performance still. But yet, when I took it out this morning, I think it was on about 8% battery. By the time I got back, it had gone to 7% because I didn't use it when I was out. It didn't record any health data. Let me show you. Okay, so this is my phone when I got back. I've already put it on charge.
Now, Michelle is not a forensic scientist, to my knowledge. She's just showing what happened in her phone. But it's very, very telling.
It was on 7%, but I had to put it on charge. So that's why you're seeing the charging function. And watch this. This was today, Friday 17th. You can see there 9/11. But let's look at my health data. No data. I've been out for a walk, and I can prove that I went out for a walk. Well, I can kind of prove that I went out for a walk. There's certain things you've got to trust me on. But Cassie has an activity tracker on her collar. Here's Cassie's activity data for the same time frame. So you can see it's now 9:12 by the time I've got around to doing this. Phone's still on charge, and it's recorded that she's done 40 minutes of activity today. Right, it starts recording at midnight. It records walking, running, and playing separately as active energy. Right, now look at this. So by the time we got back from our walk, she'd done 40 minutes of activity. You can see here some of that is beforehand. That's just like general, like walking about and whatever, dicking about in the night. Let's take it back to when we started our walk, about there-ish. So she'd done already, by the time we went out, 5 minutes of walking and 10 minutes of playing. But watch this, it goes up. So by 9:09, she's now done 15 minutes of walking and 15 minutes of playing. And then by 9:11, she's done 20 minutes of walking and 20 minutes of playing. 40 minutes activity overall. Now, you might say, Michelle, this doesn't prove anything because somebody else might have taken Cassie out and you stayed in bed. That's the thing you're going to have to trust me on. But
Now, I agree. I mean, will this hold up as evidence in court? No. You have to test this and retest this with forensic scientists. But it's very telling, especially with the 2:32 time frame. It stopped. That means she was already dead. Well, this is, in my opinion, reasonable doubt. And if the 2:32 timeline of the prosecution fails, there is literally nothing. And I mean, it was barely nothing before because of Rick Allen's time frame when he was on the bridge. But we have debunked that so many times, so I don't need to go through go through that again. But if the 2:32 is out the window, the entire case against Rick Allen, the time frame, the state's timeline, it's gone. Then you have to check at the other aspects of Libby's phone. What does the phone actually say? And it says, roughly around 2:32 p.m., her phone stopped tracking her movements. It was still working, meaning after 2:32 p.m., she did nothing with her phone, as if somebody took it from her. Went somewhere where nobody heard it ringing. Because we know they called that phone numerous times that afternoon, evening, and night. Numerous times. No, I don't. We haven't heard it was put on silent mode on the 13th, or that the volume was 0, which means it kept ringing. And if they were there at where they were found, people were close to it. You would have heard a phone ring. There's no way around it. That should tell us between 2:32 p.m. and at least, in my opinion, the 5:17 p.m., maybe even up to 10 p.m., they were somewhere else.
Phone, which was on my person, did not record any data, whilst Cassie's activity tracker, which was on her collar, absolutely did. If you believe that I was the person who took Cassie out for a walk this morning, my phone did not record any data, whereas Cassie's activity app did. So I went back and looked at other days, thinking, I didn't know that this was a thing with the iPhone. So I went back and looked at other days. Look at this day. Every other day, I walk overall when I've got my phone on me. I walk maybe 2 miles a day. That's just when I've got my phone on me. I only pick up my phone, really, when I take the dogs for a walk in the morning and in the afternoon. I don't usually take my phone out with me if I go out at night or anything like that. But this day, 11th of April, why did he only walk 0.99 miles? Less than half of what I normally walk. Well, it was because on that day, nothing was recorded in the morning. I definitely went out for a walk that morning. I went for a walk every morning. But unknowns to me, because my phone must have been critically low, didn't record any data. That's my afternoon walk. So in relation to Libby's phone, regardless of what Google Help tells you, is it the case that one of the functions that stops working when the phone becomes critically low is health data? It's an open question. Libby's phone by 2:42 was critically low. So at 24 minutes past 2, it was on 16%. And then it went down to 10% by 2:28. So in just 4 minutes, it's lost 6%. So obviously the battery's not great on this phone. And then 14:31. So this
Either battery is not great, or something recording whatever's something was used with the phone to drain battery. So there's a lot of I mean, it's impossible to say what was done, because I mean, they downloaded, to my recollection, things from the phone several times, and every time you do something with the phone, you lose something. And the incompetence in the Delphi case, and I don't put it out of the realm of possibilities that things was actively deleted or removed. Nothing would surprise me in this case. So all we have is this. Now, as GD says, we know they recorded on the bridge, which would explain the loss of between 24% and 16% between 2:18 and 2:24 p.m. But what drained it here? Screen on, screen off movement. This is all, and it's, and I don't know why. And no location and battery draining, phone in a dead zone. Yeah. And Delphi only has one antenna, or had back then at least. I don't know the current situation. Inside a car or inside a van. I mean, there's so many possibilities. And by the way, now we know that Brad Weber was there. We have a video of his damn truck at 2:47.
It's just 1 minute before it stops moving completely. So it stops moving. That's the stop walking and running at 14:32. But by 14:37, it's already on 5%. So it's critically low. So that at that point where it stops walking and running, it's probably reached 5-6%. Is it at that point it stopped recording steps, even though steps were taken? So if you've got an iPhone, I want you to do an experiment. Take your phone out for a walk. Just have your phone on your person, but make sure your battery is critically low, like 5%.
And record
7%.
yourself doing this.
And see what happens. Is it just my phone? Or is this a feature of the iPhone that has always been there?
Yeah. And I agree with Michelle. If you have an iPhone, regardless of the iPhone 6, iPhone 16, newer, older model, get it below 10%. Record yourself doing it and start walking while recording it. And then show, did it record movement? As Michelle says, it might be her fault. But if let's say we get 50 people to do this, and half of you, hey, it didn't record movement. Now we're on to something. Now, does this here matter in the current appeal? No. And no, this is for later. If this appeal fails. Because this appeal here, which we are in now, is only the unjustifiable mistakes by Judge Gull, pre-trial and in trial. But if that fails, this will become important. Because this would be new evidence. This would be, because this here was never brought up. This is new evidence, which will put in question more about the timeline. So thank you to Michelle. Again, her channel linked in the description below. Now on to the next subject. And this, trigger warning. Remember the unknown male DNA on the girl's private parts, which the prosecution claimed laundry Could have been a relative. Well, I think that has now come back to bite McLeland in the ass. County man found with CSAM faces over 70 charges in child exploitation case. But Nick, what does that have to do with this case? Well, Adam Bridge, out of Flora, which is 10 minutes from Delphi, is being held on the Carroll County Jail on cash-only bond. He's charged with 53 counts of level 5 felony child exploitation, alleging he managed, produced, or otherwise created visual depictions involving minors between 2019 and 2025. Also charged felony possession of CSAM with alleged offense dates of July 16th, 2025. Who is Adam Bridge? This is from his Facebook page, saying, "Hello, my name is Adam Bridge. I have started Liberty Lawn Care to provide basic lawn care services to the people of Flora, Indiana. Over the next few months, I will be expanding my services, yada, yada, yada." And then look down at the bottom. "I will also be donating 1% of my profits to area charity in memory of my late niece, Liberty German, her friend, and her friend Abby Williams." Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Bridge is Libby's uncle. So when McLeland says, "Oh, it has nothing to do, it's probably a relative and it has to do with laundry," well, Mr. McLeland, here is a guy who produces CSAM material. Libby's uncle and the 2019 to 2025 is only what they found. Let's see here. If I can. If I can find picture of the fucker. Of course I can't. So now that's out. I mean, now I don't know anything about Adam Bridge. This literally just showed up via the It's a New Day . So It's a New Day has their own channel, also linked in the description below. Linked in the description below. And to my knowledge, Adam Bridge is among the tens of thousands of tips regarding this. And again, produces CSAM. First of all, for the love of fuck, Delphi or Carroll County, Indiana, how many PDFs do you have in that fucking county? And why are they roaming free? Up until, well, this guy now, they let, remember Keegan Klein? Let him roam free. Why is Carroll County allowing PDFs to roam free? Up until it's too obvious and you have to charge them? Unless you can get them to move to another county? So there goes another one of the state's speculations of the unknown male DNA on both girls, which they themselves claimed we don't have to test it because it could be due to laundry and could be a relative. Adam Bridge, producer of CSAM. And one last thing here. Who else knew in the German family about the uncle? These people, I mean, the most common victim with PDFs are family members. Members, plural. It is a very uncomfortable question that has to be asked to the German family. What did you know about Uncle Bridge, Uncle Adam? Was he being weird around younger females? Was his preferred age group in Abby's and Libby's age group? I hate the question, but it has to be asked. Now when he's caught and 53 counts of level 5 felony child exploitation, managed, produced, or otherwise created visual depictions involving minors. He made CSAM. And put this into context. To get there, we have to go down here. Where was Uncle Adam on February 13th, 2017? Was he ever checked out? Was he ever checked out? I don't think so. I don't know what to say. I thought we knew as much as we possibly could know about this damn case. And the phone, that's one thing. That should have been checked out. This with a PDF uncle puts this in a whole new ballpark. Was he an Odinite? Was he a Freemason? Was he very, very good at hiding himself? For 5.5 years, he produced CSAM without being caught. And that is what they are charging him with. What else has he done? Can he account for his whereabouts? On February 13th, 2017. Will they test the DNA? We know that the state won't. But the defense, if this appeal is unsuccessful, the next step of appeals, they can ask, let's test that trace DNA from the girls. The presumptive test that showed seminal fluid. Because if that comes back to a relative, as the as the state suggested, it might be that the entirety of the Odinist theory was just a red herring, and it was in the family all along. Problem is that we don't know, because they refused to test family members. They tested the hair, and it was Kelsey's. Well, what was it? 1 or 2 of the bunch of hairs that was found on her. And they did that just before trial. But this unknown male DNA and Uncle PDF puts this is a whole new ballpark. And if this appeal is successful, which we all hope, and it's remanded to a new trial, all of a sudden, how will the state explain why they refuse to test DNA when they have a producer of CSAM in the family? Yeah. How much contact did the girls have with Uncle PDF? We don't know. It was never an issue. Was Uncle PDF out looking with the rest of the family, or did he stay home? We don't know. We don't know. But and the biggest issue here is, why are we asking these questions now? When all the state had to do was test the DNA against family. And they never did. And let me assure you, they will fight to the death to avoid testing that DNA. All right, folks. Sorry to leave you with this, but these are questions that need to be answered. And the only chance for us to get those answers is to keep talking about it, to spread the word. Ask everybody who produces anything about the Delphi case, what about this? Make a video about this. Ask people who have shown interest, but, oh, it's too much to get myself involved with. Yeah, but this one issue, you can. Get it into the algo, get it up there, and ask questions. Again, both Michelle and It's a New Day, link in the description. Go subscribe to them, give them thumbs up on everything they ever done, and do the same with this stream and video. And while you're at it, go tell Steph the Art Nerd that if she doesn't show up on May 2nd on my birthday stream to say something lovely about me, she won't get her rematch. That is what I had for you today. I wish I had more answers for you. I really do. But as of now, I hand you over the questions, and I want you to ask them to more people. You all have a good one, and I'll see you in the next stream or video. And remember, hug your family. Unless they're crap, then screw them and give your love to the people who deserve it. See ya. Bye-bye.
Down in the shadows where the courthouse stands, a gavel cracks a fading hands. Judge Gould, they whisper with a crooked grin. Played the game where justice don't win. Free Rick Allen, let him go. Chains on the innocent, don't you know? When the truth's been buried and the lies unfold, the fire in the people burns hot and cold. Prosecutor McLean with his papers tied,